Today we want to cover the untold truth about vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. If you are a Cricut beginner, this video is a must for you to watch because we're going to share with you all of our advanced training that we have learned about HTV and vinyl that may surprise you, and I want to break it all down for you. But before we do, if you are new here, hit the subscribe button. I want you to subscribe because we'll teach you everything you need to know about your Cricut machine here on the channel, and I want you to be a part of the community. Are you ready? Let's jump into it. To kick off, I want to have a conversation about Cricut Smart Vinyl. This is something that as a Cricut beginner, you're going to be potentially drawn to and encouraged to purchase. So I want to have a real conversation about what Smart Vinyl is, what its intended purpose is for, and why I do not use it. To kick off, Smart Vinyl was released when they released the Cricut Maker and Explore 3s. This was to introduce matless cutting. When they introduced matless cutting, at the same time, they introduced this new technology, I'll call it, or product called Cricut Smart Vinyl. Now, a few reasons I do not like it. Number one, to make this matless cutting, they have made the backer sheet very thick. It actually is so thick that I find it very unsuccessfully able to weed. It creates a lot of trouble. There's definitely a learning curve to properly weeding, and after countless attempts, I do not enjoy weeding Cricut Smart Vinyl. Now, the reason the backer is thicker is so that it can actually act as a mat, which is going to create more waste for you. And when it's thicker, guess what also goes up? The price of Cricut Smart Vinyl. So it's actually not economical at all for you to purchase Cricut Smart Vinyl. The idea and the thought of matless cutting sounds amazing, but let me offer you this thought. Being limited to a 12 by 12 or 12 by 24 inch mat is actually very valuable for you, even if you're using to do a large wall. The fact of the matter is, anything larger than 12 by 24 inches, you should not be trying to deal with applying at one time. Ask yourself why. If you're dealing with anything longer and wider than 12 by 24, there's no way you're going to successfully be able to apply it by yourself at all. I've tried. So what I want to offer you today is that you actually are going to be glad to do a larger than mat project in 12 by 24 inch segments. There's no need to have anything larger than 12 by 24 inches. Therefore, you can use your Cricut mat you have. You'll be able to get better results because you're going to weed it, and it's going to weed easier and better, not using Smart Vinyl. And at the end of the day, it's going to save you a lot of money. For a 9-foot roll of Cricut Smart Vinyl, you're going to pay $43. That is expensive when it comes to this type of smart material and being able to do it with a matless cutting. The comparable item to this roll right here, which is Smart Iron-On, so Smart Iron-On is $43 for a 9-foot roll. The comparable option that we found was being able to use Caesar Easy Weed in a 5-foot roll, and that was only $12.99. So as you can see, there's a very big cost savings when you use traditional material over using this new technology and this new smart material. I would argue the smart material isn't necessarily smart. I think there may be a small demographic that could use this material, but if you have anything larger than a Cricut Joy, I don't really find a lot of uses out of the smart material. In the Cricut Joy, you may not want to have mats and things like that, and you may want to be able to do longer projects. Sure, I could see why you would want to use smart material in the Cricut Joy, but anything larger, it is just not economical for you. And my goal for you, number one, is to be able to create the easiest results possible, like using the best material. And I want you to not be upset when you are not able to weed the vinyl as easy. That is why we recommend traditional products like Caesar Easy Weed, number one. And number two, my job here is to save you as much money as possible. And that again is why we recommend using traditional material that isn't smart. Yes, you'll have to purchase a Cricut mat, but again, we teach you ways to make those last a very long time so you're not constantly having to buy new ones. what I've done is I went ahead and cut out a regular piece of Caesar Easy Weed, and then we cut something on Cricut Smart Iron-On. And y'all, the thickness difference is unbelievable. Like, this is double the thickness, like, for sure, if not a little bit more. Like, this is so flimsy in a good way, but this is like very stiff. Like, I wish I could like let you hear it on my microphone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's different. It doesn't sound too different, but it's different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you a weeding comparison to see what you all think about it, in case you all are debating purchasing. So we've cut out a flower here, and what we're gonna do is we're just go find it. And what I can tell right away is that this Smart Vinyl is very, like, it's adhered very well. Like, it's stuck down extremely well. So I'm having to like physically rip it a little bit more than I naturally would. So again, this is a Smart Iron-On, and you can see you just weed it like so. The backer is definitely a lot thicker. So that's one thing, you know, there is no mat. I actually love weeding on the mat, so it would be, you know, a little bit different, but now you have the thicker material. I will tell you, this is Smart Iron-On. If you're using vinyl, you would have not got this easy of a result. So if you're thinking about Smart Iron-On, I would say number one, it would just be cheaper to use the Caesar. So with Caesar, you're going to come over here and you'll notice that it's just a lot easier to get started the weeding process, and it's obviously thinner. You would also be able to weed this on a mat because you cut it on a mat, and the result is pretty similar. With Cricut Smart Vinyl, that's not heat transfer vinyl or iron-on, you're gonna notice that vinyl is just a lot harder to weed and things like that. So the iron-on result wasn't too difficult, but I will promise you, when I've used the vinyl, it's just a lot trickier. So iron-on comparison, very similar, but again, you're literally paying to not use a mat, and you of course already have a mat. So just think about that when you're buying these different materials. This is the untold truth about vinyl. When you're cutting any type of regular piece of vinyl and you struggle to weed it, listen up. This right here will change the way you cut vinyl. Fun little story, I used to hate weeding and cutting, or using vinyl for that matter, until I started breaking down the process, how the vinyl actually was cut, and really thought meticulously about how to change my result. Because here's the deal, if you continually do the same thing without changing your action, you're never gonna get a new result. And I was like, I really wanna fall in love with using vinyl. So how come I love using heat transfer vinyl and iron-on, but I don't love using vinyl? And it broke it down to the heat transfer vinyl has the adhesive built in to hold the vinyl in place. So I was like, okay, vinyl does not have that. I don't want to reverse weed every piece, which is applying transfer tape then weeding. Does work really well. I have a video on it, but this was the quick fix. I realized that when I use the Cricut, the blade is kind of touching the vinyl, cutting the vinyl, irritating the vinyl is what I determined. And that kind of lifts the vinyl up from the backer. Well, what do we need to do? We simply need to burnish the vinyl before we weed. Simple. The simple hack has saved me hours, and it really saved my relationship with vinyl as a whole. So this is all you need to do. Grab a burnishing tool, don't have one, use a gift card, credit card, anything, and just burnish. It's also very intentional. We're weeding on a mat today. I love weeding on a mat. I think I coined the term many years ago, all about the weeding on the mat is actually your third hand, because it's going to hold your vinyl in place. After you burnish, it's now letting it sit back down, and it's really attached to the backer. So then we just weed. And ever since that day that we determined this little hack, you will know that I have had a great relationship with vinyl ever since. There's never been any trouble. Vinyl's actually fun. So if you have a bad relationship with vinyl, that you hate using it, definitely try this hack and you'll be able to weed like a pro every single time. Another untold truth about vinyl and heat transfer vinyl is that let's talk about small letters. If you are using small letters, you'll notice that vinyl isn't really able to cut super small letters. But do you know what can cut really small letters really easily? Heat transfer vinyl. The thing about heat transfer vinyl is it just weeds a lot smoother. So what you'll be able to notice is that I can cut the same size design in vinyl and it cut poorly, and then I cut it in heat transfer vinyl and it cuts smooth. It cuts like butter. So that's really nice to know. But you may say, Tanner, that doesn't serve me because I need to put this on wood. I need to put this on acrylic. I need to put this on painted metal. Guess what, my friend? You will be able to use heat transfer vinyl on so much more than fabric. I love using heat transfer vinyl on wood. I love using it on painted metal. I love using it on metal. I love using it on paper. I love using it on acrylic, and it goes on so well. What's fun about heat transfer vinyl is when you heat activate the adhesive and then let it cool, it's very permanently on. It actually, in my opinion, is smoother and better than regular vinyl. So if you've never used heat transfer vinyl in replacement of using vinyl, give it a shot. Let me know what material you're using it on. I will say the surface has to be smooth and it needs to be good, but you will be shocked at the results. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and just weed these small little letters on the heat transfer vinyl. And I have the vinyl ones here, but you'll notice, I mean, they barely cut and the result was pretty poor. So look at how well it's going to weed from this heat transfer vinyl. And it weeds so well because, again, that adhesive sheet is so good. So look at this. You have to go kind of slow because remember, they're very delicate letters. It's really impressive. I'm just going to weed one word for you. So you can see the H or the E right here. You just want to go nice and slow. If it's not staying down, just give it a little pressure. And I'm telling you guys, there would be no way I could weed this small of letters any other way. So as you can see, you are able to weed these letters really easily. You just have to be very careful and make sure you have the heat ready to go when you want to apply it to heat activate it so it adhere down and transfer really simply. So again, what do you think? Are you going to start using heat transfer vinyl in a whole new way? Because guess what? Again, you could use it on wood. You could use it on painted metal. You can use it on leather, of course, acrylic, paper, so many different ways. You're going to fall in love with using heat transfer vinyl on all sorts of different material other than just t-shirts. I want to invite you to give it a shot. And if you do, go ahead and leave me a comment because you're going to really enjoy doing that. Maybe you've tried it on wood before. Leave me a comment too. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. And if you are not getting the most out of your Cricut, I want to invite you to a free webinar. It is my Cricut Confidence Crash Course where we're going to talk about building your Cricut confidence. It's right down below, the first link, sign up. I cannot wait to hang out with you at that webinar. It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to share with you a lot of secrets, never before stories about me and my Cricut. It's a lot of fun. We've had thousands of people take it. They love it, and I think you will too. But if you're looking for another video, check out this video right here. I cannot wait to see you guys over at that one as well as the webinar. I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys.